Hi everyone, my name is Rishit. Today is the 26th of May 2024 and I'll be going over my weekly prediction for Nvidia. As usual, I'll be going over the monthly, weekly, and finally the daily charts, and then I'll switch over to the Excel sheet where we'll review last week's prediction and go over this one in more detail. But before getting into the video, it's important to make the disclaimer that all information here is completely educational and therefore it is important to conduct your own analysis, whatever analysis that may be, to ensure that you're comfortable with the risk, reward, and trading style that you use, since you may not be with the one I do. As such, please use this video in an educational manner since that is its purpose. This is not a trading guide, it is just a record of my predictions. So use it in an educational manner since that is its purpose. So without further ado, monthly charts. Again, similarly, extremely strong monthly charts, but now we see that for the current month, although it hasn't closed yet, and I will cover this when we get to the weekly charts, we have an extremely large candle. However, volume-wise, it's not there yet since the month hasn't closed, obviously, but a very, very strong month price action-wise. Now, we see RSI is definitely in overbought zone. MACD is rocketing up, and we would have had a signal to buy right here. So this is a very, very good price movement for someone who had invested in Nvidia. Now, weekly charts. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. Since we were in this range, we broke out, broke back in, and then now we've had this harami pattern. You wouldn't really call this a bullish or bearish harami. It's just a harami since there's not really a trend per se preceding it. However, we had the next few candles close upwards, and now this week's candle very, very strong on high volume. We see previously volume had been going down. However, now that the volume has gone up quite significantly because of earnings. Nvidia's earnings report caused a huge gap upwards, and we are now finally at $1,000 mark. Well, above now, but at the time that was an all-time high, and we are at an all-time high for Nvidia. However, it is important to take into consideration that typically when euphoria hits the market, it is actually it's bullish in the short run. However, it very quickly reverses, so I am going to be mindful of that. MACD has crossed again above. However, it was just below here, and now it's crossed back up, so it's not really a strong signal, but it is still a bullish signal in that sense. RSI is actually now above 70, so that means it's now in its overbought zone, but we see that Nvidia tends to stay in these zones for a while with no problem, but that's not really saying much. Finally, let's move to the daily charts. Now we will see in more detail the price action. Now, I did take a trade which I haven't covered on this channel, and I have added it to the Excel sheet, however. So I had taken the trade at the open of this day, which was of the open on the 22nd, since I had a bullish view on the forecast for Nvidia, and so did pretty much all of the market. And I had taken a trade at the open. So for the Excel sheet, I've put it as 954.59 as the open. And then I had taken a trade on this day, so I profited very well for these two. So I will cover that when we get to the Excel sheet. MACD, again, we had the signal here to buy, rocketed upwards. RSI similarly confirming this price action. Very good price action. However, we do see volume has actually been declining, so we do have a volume divergence. A slight one only, but if you exclude this outlier, which was the earnings day, it has been actually declining quite significantly, and that's why I mentioned, because of this decline in volume, we can actually rationally assume that this is probably a weak demand phase, and we should be getting a downturn soon, technically. So I would be careful, and which is why this week I'm saying that we wait for the candle to break out. We buy when it crosses the resistance at 1,075, and this just came from an arbitrary value because I want to make sure that the price is going upwards. So typically this would be covered in the first day. So basically, if the first day closes above 1,075 or whatever candle, then we'll buy. We'll sell when it falls below the support at 974. Target of 2%. Now, this target isn't a take profit, it's a moving target. So if we hit 2%, it would just be moved up 1%, and our stop loss would go from 1%, since our stop loss now is 1%, which is also trading. So if we hit 2%, or so for example, if we hit 2.5%, then our stop loss would be at 1.5%. And that's how I take these trades and know when to exit them or not. So if target or stop loss are not hit, specifically if the stop loss isn't hit, and we are on Friday, then we'll just close As of now, weekly trend is sideways. However, we did have a break up, and I do want confirmation. But as of now, we can say that there has been we can say the weekly trend is up. Monthly trend is definitely up. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.